Okay, welcome. This is James Possible, and this is part 3 of my series on the MT4 ExpertAdvisor ExpertAdvisor. So I'm going to just pick up where I left off. I know there's a lot of little things to cover on this this particular subject, and it all centers around this new Metatrader 4 ExpertAdvisor that I've created and released. Now the link, if you're not clear about that, I haven't really talked about that in the last 2 videos, but the link is available in the description of the video, the download link. So you're more than welcome to follow the link and do the download, and then maybe catch up with some of what I've been doing in the videos. There is no cost for this particular product, or widget as I like to say. I love or really enjoy building and creating widgets, and especially when it has to do with trading. I'm just a fanatic about trading, especially the Forex markets. And so this is something I'm going to be doing more and more of. Some will be offered at no cost, some will have a small cost to them, and some will have bigger costs. And you know, I'll just share it as we go, and hopefully you will learn some things about your trading as we go through these different videos and whatnot. Hang on one second. So much to learn on videos. I'm far away from it, but anyways, far from being perfect. Just noticed something, and I'll just let it go. We're already into it, and it's time to move on. Okay, so this ExpertAdvisor, or EA as they like to call them, is by far and wide the easiest way to capture, save, and use Metatrader 4 price data. I mean, it's effortless. Once you have the EA downloaded, you just drag and drop, click, and it's there. And it does everything else for you. Captures the data, saves the data, and then you're free to use the data however you want to at that point. Okay, so let's jump in where we left off. And this is where we left off. I took you through the demo, and I added a second pair. So let's drop back to the demo view, demo chart, and I'm going to do Alt-R, and what that does is that will tile the charts that are open. So you should see we have USD, JPY, Euro, USD, right? And now I'm going to click on the File menu, again, Open Data Folder, and what do we know about that? That is the easiest way to access your Metatrader 4 folders, because that's where all your indicators, your ExpertAdvisors, files and profiles and templates and things are saved. Okay, so that's the easiest way. So let me just do that one more time. File menu, open data folder, and I'm going to zoom in on that just to make sure you see what I'm doing. It's not always easy. It's not always as clear as I think it is sometimes, I'm sure. Okay, so there's a snapshot. Now I'm just going to zoom in Make this a little bigger. All right. Change color here. Okay. And so right here, File menu. It's at the top left, right? And then below that, you're going to highlight and click on Open Data Folder. And that will bring you to your Metatrader for folders, related folders, okay? So right now we're going to look at the data files, the tick data files that have been, the ExpertAdvisor has been updating, right? So the way to do that, once we have our Metatrader folders open, we double click on MQL4, or you can just highlight it and press enter. And we're going to go to File, Files, highlight it, press enter, or double click it, either way. And you can see now, in the previous video, we only had one USD JPY file. Now we have 9 files. And I'm going to zoom in on that. Just show you some things about that. And okay, so first thing you're going to notice, or that I'm going to point out, let's put it that way, is you have the pair, right? The symbol. Okay. Next, you have the date. Whoops. You have the date. So you have the year, the month, and the day. And then you have the time, which is the hour, the minutes, and the seconds. And that is based on your chart time. And then we have, at the end, you'll see we have this number. Well, each file contains 101 records. And the reason for that is to reduce some of the drag, potential drag, on updating a file during runtime, right? So it keeps each file small so they're easy to access, quick to get to the bottom of the record, get to the last record and update, etc. Okay, so you can see right here we have 0, 1, and it starts at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there were 5 files created, and then it was restarted, and then 0, 1, 2, oh, so we're in, okay, so that, the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, the initial ones, those are Euro USD, and then underneath that we have the USD JPY, so we have 0, 1, 2, 3, then it restarted, and then we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's probably a new one. No, we're still on 4. Euro USD is on 4 as well. The last one on that was 4, and that's fine. We're getting, no, those are both, well, the Euro USD is a new folder, new file, I can tell by the size of it. And the USD JPY is about to create a new file. I can tell by the size. All right? So that's the files. That's what they look like in the folder. Now, let's take a look at the actual data. Okay, so let's start with, let's go to Euro. Okay, so I'm going to start with the 0 file. And again, I'm going to go to the end of the file, do Control-G, and you'll see, whoops, Control-G, and 101 lines. So that's 101 records. Let me max this out for you. And I believe, yes. And this is how the data is laid out. Symbol, bid, ask, spread, volume, tick data, tick date time, which is the on-chart time, seconds between ticks, local date time, that's your time, your daily time of operation, right? So, and then GMT time, that's the Greenwich Mean Time. And so let's go to a blank sheet. And what I'm going to do, okay, what just happened? Oh, hang on. I had a macro kickoff. Oops. Yeah, it definitely messed with my data. Okay, I activated a macro. I didn't mean to. Okay. What I was going to show you, I think, yeah, right here. Okay, early on, I showed you this set of data. Now, and I outlined, this is the process I go through. So Control-A, I highlight all the records in the file. Control-C, I copy all those records, and then Control-V, I paste into Excel. Now, the space between each of the data elements is a tab, which means that the data is tab delimited. So I'm going to minimize that. Let's go back to here. Control-A, I've highlighted all the data. Now I'm going to do Control-C, which is copy, or you could do right-click, copy, either way. And now I'm going to minimize that, go back to the Excel, I'm going to maximize Excel, and then Control-V, and get some of this. Let's sort these out a little bit. I want these to be a little bit wider. Okay, a little bit wider. Those would be a little bit wider. All right, and there we got it sorted out. I'm going to shift this data down. If you're an Excel person, you know that's a Control plus what I just did. Okay, so symbol, bid, price, ask price, spread, seconds between, date, time. Hang on, scroll. For some reason the scroll button's on. So what's this going to be? Okay, this is tick date time. And, oh, I'm sorry. This is volume. This is seconds between ticks. This date time is the local date time, and then this time is GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. Okay, so that's our columns that we have. Now here's the really interesting thing about tick data. There's really nothing magical or mysterious about it. The beautiful thing is that you have bid and ask. When we look at a price chart in Metatrader 4, these price candles are created by the tick data. Now, another way to see that would be to, and all I did was I opened up the Market Watch window and just double-clicked on a pair. I'll bring this down here. I don't think I can make that any bigger. But this little window right here on the side, let me zoom in on that. Let's slide this over so you can see. And actually, if I drop this down, you can see the price moving around, changing. Okay, so that's the tick data. So if you hold your order window open, you can actually watch tick data as it's happening. Okay, now, again, that tick data creates the price candle data. So let's go back to how does that happen, right? So let's do some highlighting here. Boom. And let's highlight that. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. View. Let's go to 125. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So this right here, actually let me highlight that also. We'll just call this candle 1 price, and then let's center that. Okay, so that's price candle 1. Let's go down here, highlight that. This is price candle 2. Stay with, oops, hang on. No fill, okay. And this is price candle 3. And this is price candle 5. This is price candle 4. Okay. So how do I know that? What on earth am I doing that is telling me that? Well, here's what's telling me that. I'm looking at the volume. And this is where volume is different than what you would find in a stock or equities chart, okay? Volume is simply an update, a bid-ask update. So in this minute, in the 20th minute, or in the 33rd minute, so let's see here. Oh, actually I apologize, I missed a candle right here. No fill. Yeah, there we go, okay. So let's move that up there. Move that there. And grab that. And we'll just call this, so I don't have to renumber everything, we'll just call this candle 0, okay? Okay, so what happens is the volume is simply a counter, right? I mean, it increments as updates happen. So we have in the 33rd minute of the 20th hour on the 6th day of February 2019, we have 5 ticks that occurred, 5 bid-ask updates that happened. And they happened 13 seconds apart, 17 seconds apart, 20 seconds apart. Well, actually, this is the same set. Yeah, so that's fine. So actually it was 4 seconds. So I'm going 17 minus 13 is 4. 20 minus 17 is 3 seconds. 37 minus 20 is 7 seconds. And let's do this. Let's insert this. And let's say, let's just call this actual seconds, right? We'll call this actual seconds. So this is going to be minus and then we got a change here, and that's a little different. I'm not going to get into it. If you go to either part 1, I think part 1, yeah, part 1 I actually broke down the math on calculating the seconds in between ticks, okay? I'm just going to keep it simple right now. So you see the first tick here actually occurred, I'm sorry, the second tick occurred 4 seconds after the first tick. The third, so that's the second tick, took 4 seconds before it presented. The third tick took 3 seconds to present. The fourth tick waited 17 seconds before it happened. And then the fifth tick took 9 seconds. Sorry about that. Boy, that snuck in on me. Okay? So what happens? So we start, we're going to just look at bid prices right now, because that's what you're okay, so we're just going to look at the bid prices right now. So the first candle, the first bid ask is going to be our open. So over here I'm going to put open. Okay. This is going to be the high. This is going to be the low. This is going to be the close. And then we have volume. And this gives us, what does this give us? I'm going to shift this down. This gives us the famous acronym open, high, low, close, right? Oh, come on. I thought I merged you. There we go. Okay. So the open equals the first one. So in this case, it's going to equal, boom. In the following scenarios, it's going to be equals if, let's see, if that is less than, actually, I think the better way to do that would be is greater than then we're going to do a 8th, otherwise nothing. Oops. Now we're going to do B8. I'm not sure if that'll work. We'll see. Okay, that's going to work. So we'll slide down here through candle 5. Actually, we'll catch the start of candle. Actually, since we're starting from 0, there's 6 candles. Okay. So if get my hands on the right keys here, that's not blank, then we are going to row, and then otherwise if comma, and then, okay, so if L4 does not equal, then we are going to do max equals we're going to do max indirect, and wow, this one's taking longer. But this is good because this will give you a glimpse of what's actually happening. So I'm doing my best to keep these short, and sometimes it's just not going to be short. So indirect, and you're seeing me do this on the fly, in real time. So L4, so really this should be M. So we're going to do M and row, so that's the current row. Oops. Actually, we're going to do M and M, the value in M2, and M row, otherwise, I don't know if that's, okay. Okay, so hang on here. This one, I shouldn't have changed that. It's because it's the top one. Then L, then row. That's the first one. So that's okay. So now we're going to do if. Oh yeah. So we're doing. Okay. So if L3 equals okay. So now we're going to, and this is where we should be looking at L5. Yeah. This should be L4. Yep. Okay, so if L4 is blank, then I'm going to look at L5. If it's not blank, then it's going to be, we're going to do max. Otherwise, we're going to do M3. So I think I just burped. I apologize. Let's see what we got here. M3, M4 max, but we're not doing that because we're doing M equals M3, which would be right. Okay, so then if not, then, oh, okay. Then this is going to equal row. Okay, so, geez, I know the last thing you want me to do is be troubleshooted. This should be pretty straightforward. If L4 is empty, then I'm going to look at L5, and L5, if it's not empty, then I'm going to look, I'm going to do max. It's going to be M, the value in M3, so I'm on M3, and then row, and row. So row would be 4. Okay, so I think my parentheses are out of place. There we go. Okay. Okay, so right here at this point, because L8 is not empty, okay, we're going to be doing max indirect M6, which would be 3. So M3 to M7 max, M6, we want that to be row. So, oh, we want the max of, I'm looking at the wrong max, right? Okay, so we're doing the bid. So B, we want B because that's where the bid B. Okay, so there's the high for that candle. And let's, yep. Okay, there's the high for that candle. Okay, now we're going to work this backwards. Okay, so row 3. The challenge here is what? Okay, so really we're looking at so we're still making the same comparisons, except now we're looking at N. So instead of M, we're looking at N. And actually, it really doesn't matter, does it? Because it's going to be the same. So really, equals if that's not that, then we're going to do min indirect and B, right? B M6 B row. That gives us our min. Otherwise, we're going to do M3, no, M6. Close out that if, and then row, I think was the way I was going to do that, right? Oh, no, that's not right. Okay, I guess I still have to look at L4. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I know this is painful here. I'm sorry. This was not in the plans. Okay, so instead, yeah, it's just going to be a different. All I'm really changing is that. All right, so that's going to be the low. Okay, so there's the open, the high, the low, and then the close is going to be then it's going to be B3, otherwise nothing. This should be pretty straightforward. All right, so that's the last. So there you go. And there's your candle data. Let's slide this over a little bit. Okay, so let's go back here to volume. Okay, slide this over. Can I get the volume out? One more. Okay, there we go. So slide this over. So the open is the first candle, the first tick data, right? The close is the last tick data in that time frame. So we're doing, this is this is 1 minute data, right? If we were looking at M5 candles, it would be actually calculating the volume based on the M5 time frame. But I have everything set on M1. And I would recommend you doing the same because it's easy to build the M5 candles, and I'll describe that later. This video has gone far longer than I wanted it to. But hopefully you get value out of this, right? So the volume, it's going to be roughly the same thing. This is going to be E. And L4, yeah, so and that'll be E. Control copy. Okay, and so let's do this real quick. Volume. So volume, like close, is the value of found on the last tick that exists in that particular time frame. In this case, we're looking at 1 minute candles. Okay. So if we were to do this, how do I want to do this? Okay, I'll have to think about that. I think in the next video, I'll take this the next step up, and this at least you see how the calculations, how the candle data is actually derived, and then I'll show you in Excel how to translate this into actually a candle, right? So it's pretty cool. You know, so we have 12 ticks in this particular candle. What was this candle? 2, 3 actually. 10 ticks, another 12 ticks, and you know it goes way beyond that, right? When things really start moving aggressively, you get into the hundreds and thousands of ticks, believe it or not. So it's really crazy. So I'm going to stop here. Again, apologize for the long video. It just got caught up in the formulas, but hopefully you get something out of the formulas as well. I'm by no means an Excel guru, but I do like to work in Excel, and the formulas are very powerful once you understand some of the basics. So this has been part 3 in this series. Thank you for joining me. Again, this is James Possible. Look down in the descriptions below for the download link if you haven't done it already. Join me on Twitter. I'll also have that link available in the description. You know, even follow me on Facebook. And any questions or comments and thoughts you have, share here on YouTube. Share here on YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook. All right. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you. Bye for now.